So my worst performance ever was a house show in California where one of my friends asked me to play, and I agreed to play. And it was just like I was supposed to do like 4 songs. It was just me and my guitar. Really not that stressful. There were not that many people there and everything, but there was a girl that I liked at the time who was there, and she was also a songwriter, and she was playing there. And I forgot my lyrics because she made me nervous. So I ended up pulling it off, and then just, I don't know. I think I had to start the song over or whatever, and once I remembered. But it's embarrassing because I wrote the lyrics, but that I forgot them, so. Music's always been a big part of my life. My mom always made sure it was an important part of my upbringing and the upbringing of all my siblings and stuff, and she's always been, I don't think she's ever really even been that musical of a person, but she's made it like readily available for all of her kids, which is great, and introducing us to all kinds of like, mostly like the classical music when we're first kids and everything, which I think is super, super important to start at the basics. I think my biggest inspiration to start writing music was Johnny Cash. I think he's been my longest lasting influence, and so I think if I could point to anyone who first got me to start writing music, and it would probably be him. So I have 3 records that I've put out, 1 EP I guess, and then 2 kind of full-length records. And this latest record that I released, the way that it was kind of started out is, well, I'm constantly making music, but I kind of have been trying to like do different things with my music and stuff. The first 2 albums that I made were just like a collection of songs pretty much, and they didn't really have anything to do with each other, so I wanted to do this new record and tell a story throughout every track from beginning to end, and so I decided to do that. Yeah, so I guess the story that I was trying to convey through the album was, the album is called Selfish Songs, and it's kind of the story of a journey, somebody taking a journey through like grieving and depression, and then ultimately finding redemption. The title Selfish Songs kind of comes from the idea that I feel like there's like, the more that I grow older and stuff, I feel like there's almost no such thing as a selfless act, and even like doing good sometimes is kind of selfish in that it like makes you feel good or whatever. And so that's just a piece of it, but I don't know, I would have to go on and on about it to really explain it correctly. I do like to leave the interpretation up to the listener as much as possible, because I feel like that maximizes their participation, and their kind of coming up with their own, like what they thought that I meant and whatever, so kind of leaving that up. I feel like any good art will do that, but so I don't want to talk it into the dirt. But I also think it's very pivotal in my career, if that's what you want to call it, because I don't think I could ever really go back and do an album that's not a concept album, that doesn't have like, it isn't a piece of art like all together with all the songs, because I think this culture has lost track of the beauty of album, and we're all about like YouTube singles and music videos and all these like one-hit wonders and everything, and we've just lost track of, you know, the purity of the album. I don't know when it happened, but I know that it even happened to me as a kid. I'd look on my iPod and I have all these bits and pieces of albums, but never like a full album, and I just think it does kind of a disservice to the artist who put their whole like blood, sweat, and tears into this album and created it, and then we're only listening to a piece of it, what they have to say. Yeah, I can't imagine like any kind of scenario where this world comes together, is created, or evolves, or whatever you want to see it as, and it comes together in any sort of scenario where music doesn't appear somehow. I happen to think that the creator of this world is very musical himself, and I think that just because of that, there's no possible way that music can exist. And I can't think of any scenario, like I said, where it just doesn't exist and people don't discover it, because it's this language that we're all kind of striving for, and we don't really understand it to its full extent, and I don't think we ever will. And so, yeah, I can't really imagine not having music. Music is in everything. It's in nature. It's in. I just feel like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to imagine no music, because I feel like it was bound to happen given the laws of the world when they were laid into place and everything, when everything came to be. So